It's quite a complicated topic, so let's start with a simple question that you can ask yourself, and you might even get the answer by yourself. The question is, did you control where you were born, which parent you were born to, and which environmental conditions you were born in? Most of you have probably answered that you cannot control these things. But when looking at the underlying mechanisms of the factors, you will know how much of who we are is determined by where and under what conditions we were born. Our environment and upbringing shape our personality, our consciousness, and our entire being. Our genes, passed down from our parents, also play a significant role in shaping who we are. When we are born into certain family structures, cultural backgrounds, and geographical locations, we are immediately exposed to certain values, beliefs, and lifestyles that help to shape our character and directly influence our thoughts, behaviors, and attitudes. For example, if we are born into a family that values certain values, we are more likely to develop an affinity for those values. If not, it will be influenced by other external environmental factors. On the other hand, our genetics can also dictate certain traits, such as physical appearance, and even our risk for certain diseases. Our genes can also impact our personality, shaping our tendencies towards certain behaviors. Our upbringing and genetics not only shape our personality, but also play a huge role in our decision-making. Our thoughts, behaviors, and attitudes are all interconnected, and the things we are exposed to and the traits we inherit heavily impact and shape the way we approach life and make decisions. For example, if we are born into a family that values financial stability, we may be more likely to prioritize saving money and making smart financial decisions. On the other hand, if we have a genetic predisposition towards impulsiveness, we may struggle with making well-thought-out decisions and may be more likely to act on impulse. It's all about cause and effect. Our experiences, environment, and genetics all contribute to the formation of our thoughts and beliefs, which then drive our actions and decision-making. We can see how the cause and effect logic plays out in our lives, as our past experiences and circumstances shape our present and future. So, where do our thoughts come from? They come from a combination of our environment, upbringing, and genetics. It's fascinating to think about how life is simply a chain reaction of chemical processes and how everything we do as biological creatures is just a part of that chain reaction. Our actions and decisions are a direct response to the environment and stimuli around us, whether they're a product of our upbringing, genetics, or experiences. Just like in a chemical reaction, our environment and experiences can trigger a chain of thoughts and behaviors, leading to certain decisions and actions. This can be seen in the way our emotions and moods are affected by external factors, such as our relationships, work environment, or even the weather. At a more technical level, our thoughts and awareness are formed in the brain, which is comprised of neurons and their activity. The activity of these neurons creates the individual that we are, including our personality, decisions, awareness, and even the feeling of control. However, the question remains, do we control our neurons? The answer is no. As explained previously, our neurons create our sense of control, and our neurons, and therefore our entire being, are shaped and influenced by a variety of factors such as our environment, memories of our environment, and genetics. For example, let's look at the cause and effect logic behind our behavior. Our behavior is influenced by our environment and, in turn, can influence our environment. For example, if we grow up in a home where aggression is seen as an acceptable form of expression, we may be more likely to display aggressive behavior or other related behaviors that directly trigger it in our own lives. However, this aggressive behavior can also shape our environment, as others may respond to it in a negative manner, leading to further conflict and negative experiences. Similarly, evolutionary science plays a role in shaping our behavior. Through shaping our genetics, our ancestors evolved certain behaviors, such as fear responses, that help them survive and thrive in their environment. These behaviors are now ingrained in our biology and still impact our behavior today. So we know that our genetics and biology play a major role in shaping our being, but what controls our genetics and biology? The answer lies in the interplay between our environment and evolution. Our environment shapes the way we think, feel, and behave through a combination of external and internal factors, including our experiences, memories, and social interactions. Our environment can also influence the expression of our genes, leading to changes in our biology that can be passed down from generation to generation. On the other hand, evolution through natural selection shapes our genetics by determining which traits are advantageous for survival. Over time, certain traits that were beneficial for survival became more prominent in the population, leading to the development of species that were better equipped to handle their environment. In summary, from evolutionary perspective, just like any other creature, we belong to the same tree of life, and our behavior is driven by our evolutionary programming. For example, a lion hunting other animals is not evil because it is simply following its instinct for survival and reproduction. In the same way, anything a human does is related to our own evolutionary programming, as we take in information from our environment through our senses and make decisions based on our previous experiences in order to maximize our potential for survival and reproduction. Furthermore, our behavior is also influenced by our evolutionary programming. Just like other animals, humans have evolved to prioritize survival and reproduction, and our brains make decisions based on this fundamental drive. This means that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are often driven by a desire to maximize our potential for survival and reproduction. So we have established that our behavior is this infinite chain of cause and effect. So now, in this alarming situation, our whole civilization is based on the idea of free will, from politics to religion, which controls our civilization, and even the civilization's rules are based on this idea, like justice, good, and evil. Based on the logic of cause and effect and modern science, it is clear that our behavior is influenced by our environment and in turn can influence it. But first, let's define free will. Its capacity to make decisions or perform actions independently of any prior event or state of the universe. When I explain the thought process in the first part of the video, the possibility of free will becomes an absolute impossibility. To the question of whether you can control which family you choose, where you are born, and when you are born, the answer is no, because your consciousness is not even formed at that time, which is quite obvious. Let's also define consciousness, which is, at its simplest, awareness of existence. My understanding of consciousness is that it is a structure of information that you receive from your sensing organs, just as we do, and that in our brain, these information get structured in a way that gives importance to information that is quite important for survival and related needs, and that is because you are clearly alive, which means that your brain clearly did this, and this is why you are still alive. The logic is that you can't think of the brain as an independent entity because it's not independent. Without memory, it can't be considered anything, and memories are formed from past experiences and events over which you have no control. This is because our environment, genetics, and past experiences shape our thought processes and decision-making abilities. Therefore, the idea of free will being independent of any prior event or state of the universe is not possible because our choices are shaped by previous events and our environment. The idea of free will implies complete independence and control, but the reality is that we are shaped by our environment and experiences, making true free will an illusion. Furthermore, the concept of free will and independent action is neither free nor independent. Everything we do as humans is derived from past experiences, elements, and influences. For example, we cannot know a language if we have never learned anything about it before. Our ability to learn and communicate is based on the structures and patterns we have learned in the past. There are many people trying desperately to validate free will, but they all seem to not consider other factors like the physical limits of the brain and its effect on consciousness, such as how the brain absolutely requires energy to function, otherwise, it will stop, and along with consciousness. They also fail to recognize that we are all biological organisms, the product of millions of years of trial and error known as evolution. So, when did consciousness emerge? What evolutionary advantage did it have? What traits helped the emergence of consciousness? And what about other highly intelligent creatures, such as elephants, dolphins, crows, and other primates? And many are also getting stuck in the messy human interpretation of quantum phenomena. Imagine you are an artist, and you have to create a completely original piece of artwork. You have never seen or heard of any type of art before, and you have no access to any references or inspiration. Could you create something truly unique and original, or would everything you create be a combination of past experiences and influences? In other words, can you truly create something out of nothing, or are all of your ideas and creations derived from past experiences and external influences?